everybody, welcome back to another episode of This Disc Was Great with Steve and Nate. We missed a week because of the 4th of July. Hope you guys are all being patriotic. But we are back again with the Westside Warhorse. Before we get into the review, just a quick reminder, disc member packages should have all gone out last week unless your payments had some issues, and so I sent a couple more out today. But the 15th, which is in 4 days, is that on a Sunday or is that Monday? One way or the
15th is Monday.
Okay, so the 15th is when we normally do the raffle. I'm not coming to work on Sunday, so we're going to do it on the 16th. So on Monday, we will do the disc member raffle. Steve, how do they get in the disc member raffle?
It's actually pretty easy, folks. Just got to go to social media. We just need to have the @ disc store and hashtag disc member. That's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
And make sure when you do @disc store, you either click on the link, and it has to turn blue. If it doesn't turn blue, we can't find you and you're not in the raffle.
That'd be unfortunate because every month we've had some pretty sweet stuff to give away. So I'm excited to give out more stuff.
Yeah, we are still working on exactly what we're giving away, but Innova is sponsoring. We did the Innova Double Disc Month, so Innova is also sponsoring the raffle. There'll be some bags, there'll be some baskets, there'll be some frisbees, maybe some apparel. I don't know. We'll see. But there'll be cool stuff in the raffle, roughly $1,000 worth of stuff, and we'll do that soon. So get those posts in. Make sure it's public. A lot of people post it in the fans page, which is great. Go to the fans page. I like seeing your posts. Makes me feel good about doing disc member. But they need to be public to count for the raffle because it's about advertising disc members. So don't do that in the fan page. Do that publicly. All right, so we are back again, like we said, for episode 58 of This Disc Was Great with Steve and Nate. So what we do in the show is we take new plastic, like the Warhorse, and we go out and we throw it a whole bunch of times so that we can show you guys how it flies, we can have a better idea of what it flies so we can tell you about it, and then we give away the stuff that we threw. So I've got the special edition Tournament X-Blend Warhorse here, and Steve has the VIP first run Warhorse. We're going to give this one away, some good comments or questions, something makes us laugh or something is just good, insightful stuff. And that one is going to get given away to whoever guesses the farthest backhand distance during the live video. So guess Steve or Nate and how far you think we threw it, and you might win that guy. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right into the review unless we got anything that people have said.
We got one thing for you real quick. Steve, you want to let him know?
It is Nate's birthday today. This is happy birthday, Nate.
I appreciate it. I've been trying to ignore it because I'm old, but it is my birthday, so thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Did that make it into the? That didn't make it into the. We did a post with that. That wasn't in the actual video. That we sent to DD.
Cool.
All right. So Steve, why don't you tell us about the Warhorse?
All right. Brand new disc, VIP Westside Warhorse, and the special edition Warhorse. The numbers on this disc are speed of 13, glide of 4, high speed turn of 0, and a fade of 4. Westside says disc golfers can charge into battle with the new overstable distance driver from Westside, the Warhorse. Combining higher speed with dependable stability, the Warhorse can tackle strong winds with pinpoint precision. So this is designed to fight wind in hurricanes and monsoons, and
to take, Eric Oakley, Simon Lizotte, Eagle McMahon arms is what it's super wide rim, supposed to be super overstable. It's going to be for most normal humans, it's going to be an overstable utility disc for winds or for just really big hyzers or big flex shots. For those top arm pros, this is going to be a go-to distance driver because it's got the torque resistance to handle their arms. But yeah, this is probably one of those discs that's not for everyone. It's definitely going to have a specific use for a lot of people, and not for the faint of arm.
I like that.
So yeah, I just kind of came up with that on the spot. But Steve, what are some discs that we think are pretty close to this based on the description and the numbers?
First thought is Ape.
Identical numbers, I think.
Identical numbers. I think
pretty much. Glide is one off on the Ape, but whatever.
Nuke OS, also just crazy overstable.
Yep.
the Gladiator from Latitude 64, which came out last spring?
Yep, I think technically it has one less fade, but I'm going to guess that this is going to be pretty close to it.
Yeah, the feel of it is really close to the Gladiator, same kind of profile as well. And then the last one was the Panic by
Axiom. And if you guys saw us throw that, it's crazy overstable too. I know a lot of like the Axiom pros are throwing the Panics from their max distance shots, but for me it's definitely that defender slot of that overstable distance driver. But yeah, let's take a look at what we got going on here. So that's not as steep a hyzer as we normally start with.
But it's exactly the same flight.
Yeah,
you don't need to throw a spike with this thing.
That looks like your spike hyzer with the Tantrum or the Excite. And we did the Anvil 2 weeks ago, and we were throwing it over 300 feet. And this is 9 speeds faster, and Steve just threw it 329.
It's a fun disc.
Right out of the gate, we have guesses in the 450s on this.
Oh,
That's confidence.
that's we did our Wheaties. We've broken 450 twice, ever. All right, a little bit of ladder.
Yeah, from flat, but letting.
I don't think you got it all right.
Yeah,
You fluffed that one a bit.
I definitely tried to make sure I was getting on it, so I didn't give it enough height as well. But it's gonna fade. I'll tell you that much.
It is, yeah, it's not flipping over or going straight, that's for sure. It's fading out real quick. All right, let's go on to the next shot, see what we got here.
Next one?
Yep.
Sorry.
So that got a little skied on me, so it stalled out a little bit, but that's flat, so a little bit of ante. If I throw that with my strikes, that's definitely getting a giant turn with a little bit of fade. Even with my defenders, that's gonna full S, but straight, and then no, it's done going forward. So 338 with a 13-speed disc is not super far from me. So it's definitely diving out early, it's fading out as fast as it can. It's crazy overstable. So that's with a little bit of ante, not quite as high, so it did hold that for a little bit, but not very long, and that's just full ripping on it. That's just as hard as I can throw it, and it's going 350. So we're throwing those Excites and those Tantrums, 430, 450. This is 100 feet shorter.
I'm glad we didn't throw those on the same day, because then you'd walk up all confident to the tee, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I can't throw it.
I think it's the same days as the Captains, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We need to get to those. Those have been out for a minute now. All right, so there's that yellow one. That's low. That is hard. That is roller angle almost. And 380 on. That was almost a grip lock, is honestly what that was.
It was very hard.
And so, like, that's as hard as I can possibly throw on a flex line, and all I got out of it was 380. So, this was fairly windy on these days that I was throwing. Like, I was having a hard time not flipping over things like the Captain.
Yep.
And so I was trying to flip this over, and I was getting nothing. So, but that's good. That's what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be overstable. I'm used to Westside discs coming out a little flippier than they say they are, but this one I think is pretty darn close. So I'm ripping on it on an ante, and it's fighting out and fading hard. That's what this disc is supposed to do. That's what it's good for. And this would be something where I'd use it for where I want to throw hard but not go too far. Mm-hmm. Or I'm throwing into a headwind. That's what this disc is going to get used for. Yep. Or it's going to be a great masher sidearm disc. A lot of people like crazy overstable stuff for sidearms because it helps you not screw up. You can throw it on as much ante as you want. It's going to come out. And you see that's coming out with some angle. And usually when I throw high-speed stuff that's stable to understable, you definitely see that curve and then come back. That definitely went straight and then faded. So it's reliable, definitely overstable. If you need something beefy, you found it. Speaking of, we need to throw deflectors in. So like that's the angle I'm throwing my big S-turn flexes with my defenders, and that's nope. I do max out about 330, 340 on my sidearm, so this is getting pretty close to that. But again, this isn't turning over. If it was going to turn over, that's the shot that would have turned it over, and not even close. See if we got Steve throwing one here. I think you have like a 45-degree angle one coming.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at rolling my wrist when I throw flicks, so that's a ton of ante, and it just says no.
Yeah, like from the air, that's not really an S-turn. That's just like a no. It's like a 7.
It's honestly just hilarious how the pros are getting this to hold flat for 400 feet and then finally fade out. And you're like, how much more can I put into it?
That is a fun video that I would like to do at some point and do like rec player, intermediate player, me, like okay pro, like 950, 970, it's like 975 rated pro, and then like Simon Lizotte throwing the same disc and just seeing how differently it flies for them. But yeah, this is not for, like I said, not for the faint of arm. It takes some power to get it out there, or it's going to be one of those discs where like you're throwing it for those specific skip shots. And like I carry a criminal in my bag just for the like get out of trouble wood shots because I need it to go left really hard, or I need it to go right really hard, depending on sidearm backhand. And so like that, this could be that disc for a lot of people because it's going to skip those kind of things, super overstable. So Steve, 13404, how do we feel on those numbers?
Dude, I'm almost tempted to give it a positive 1 turn, just with some of the shots.
Yeah, I can see that.
But other than that, I'm cool with the 4 glide. It didn't feel like an handle where it just like didn't want to keep going, but 13
I mean,
speed.
I feel like it felt kind of like a 13 speed handle. Yeah, 13 speed, I mean, that's just based on rim width, so that's accurate. I'd knock it down to 3 glide, honestly, because it wasn't staying in the Air Force very long. It was definitely falling out. But again, we've got good arms. We're probably in the upper, tier of arm speed players, but we're not massive arms like the pros. So maybe it glides better for them. I could, like, if they wanted to give it a 0.5 positive turn or a 1, I wouldn't argue with it. But it definitely has that 4 fade. We gave some discs that were comparisons for it. Of the discs that we've thrown on the show, what do you think it's kind of close to? Do you think the Panic's a good representation? Panic Gladiator somewhere in there?
Yeah, I also feel like I only threw the Machete as far as well.
Yeah, the Machete was really close. It's a little slower, but definitely had a similar flight. It's almost the limit. It's not quite the limit, but it's almost the limit. A lot of people wanted this to be the Westside Stiletto, and I'd say it's not quite that overstable.
There's something more overstable than this?
Yeah, the limit, for one.
Well, I'm saying from
the Stiletto is a little bit more overstable. I think this slots in right between the Gladiator and the Stiletto. We got a little bit more distance, a little bit more straight flight out of the Gladiator. So this is going to be a little more overstable than the Defenders I throw, except I do have a Moonshine Defender from Junior Worlds fundraisers last year, and it's this overstable. It's more overstable than any of my other Defenders, so it's pretty close. So again, going to be your overstable workhorse disc that does work in the wind. Not going to be, for most, 99% of players, it's not going to be a max distance driver. But you need that overstable, reliable disc in your bag. You really do. So it's got a place. Anything else we need to say about it before we move on to some comments?
I like the disc for the trick shots, or like there's a lot of the times the course here, when they're set up for a tournament, they have out of bounds. So knowing that you're never going to have the opportunity to turn it over, super safe way to save strokes.
And I played plenty of tournaments in Emporia where I had 35-mile-an-hour winds and my normal drivers were just not enough. I had to go get a new Defender to handle it.
Ooh.
And so, like, this disc is kind of what you need for that. So we do normally complain about Westside numbers being off. We think this is pretty close. Like, normally they're flippier than they say they are. I don't think this one is.
Not today.
All right, let's get to some comments and questions, give some stuff away. So the top distance was 380. So research said there were some guesses in the 450s, which I appreciate the confidence, but not.
Yeah, let's see. We had a couple really close ones. Someone guessed Steve 377, but that wasn't Steve. That
Not the right guy.
So the closest was guessing Nate 376. That was Kyle Smith.
Kyle Smith?
Smith.
Hey, I'll give that to you tomorrow at League. We don't have to ship it. Kyle's the treasurer of our local club, so he's a cool dude.
We actually also got a comment from Tan Sanchez. He says, saludos from Nicaragua. So we got some Nicaraguan viewers.
All right. Nice. We're international now.
We're international.
We're worldwide celebrities. We have dozens of fans and hundreds of viewers.
So going down through some of the questions now. Let's see. Okay, so Jimmy Swenson, our good friend, wants to know what would make these discs much shorter in distance than the Excite and other than the weight. So like, what's making this fly shorter than the Excite other than the weight?
Okay, so the question is, why did this disc fly shorter than, say, the Excite or the Tantrum? Steve, you wanna take a stab at that one?
I half-heartedly want to say it's the gyro technology, where I thought
there is some of that, but both the Excite especially and the Tantrum both have a lot of high-speed turn. I think the Tantrum is like negative 1.5 or negative 2, something like that, and the Excite was like negative 3. So I don't understand the physics reasons and like the design reasons why that happens. I can't tell you exactly why. But they have high-speed turn, so when they're going fast, they are drifting, which lets it give that more full flight, that big S-turn. These are wanting to hook and wanting to drop out of the air. They're less aerodynamic for whatever reason, or they just don't want to stay in the air as much. They want to fight out of the rotation faster. For whatever physics reasons and design reasons that is. That's smarter than I am. But those just want to flip, and that gives you more flight and gives you more time in the air.
I think we covered this. The Todd Platts wants to know, is it more stable than the Stiletto? You said no.
I will say, okay, so they asked if it's more stable than a Stiletto. That does, as always, depend on your Stiletto. The Goldline ones aren't as stable as the Opto ones, and I'd say that it's just not as stable as an Opto Stiletto.
Let's see. Nate, what's a disc golf birthday wish? You got any disc golf birthday wishes? Family down to Spears?
Our ace pool is at like $800 around here right now, so that would be a nice one. I'd like to hit that. That's what my disc golf birthday wish is. And actually, I have Ultimate tonight, so I can't play tonight, but I might go play the Doubles League tomorrow, and that ace pool should be at like $1,000. So I would take a birthday ace at a league to win $1,000. I'd be okay with that.
Sean Pavel says, he normally asks what would this disc do to replace a disc in your bag, but after watching you guys seems to think that you guys don't replace this much. So the question is, what would it take for a new disc to replace a disc in your bag?
So Sean Pavel wants to know what it would take for a disc to replace the disc in our bags. So I do have a fairly established bag that I like to I don't like to change my bag a lot during a season. I want to keep it fairly similar so that I know my discs. When I step up to a shot, I know what disc I'm throwing. I'm not changing a lot of things in and out. But Steve, we both have switched some things in that we've reviewed on the show. How does a disc make it from this show to your bag?
I would say the biggest thing is,
does that have a flag stand?
Yeah. Color and stamp are big for me, but then the flight is, I want to know how much hyzer can I put on it for it to not turn over, and then how hard can I throw it and trust that I can get it a certain distance. So when the Shrike came out, I had been trying to throw lightweight destroyers at that time, so just was not working. Finally the Shrike came out, boom, right in the bag. I actually put in I had been throwing a TL, and I grabbed the TL3 because mine started to be flippy, and I love how accurate that is. And then, did we review the MD4?
Yep.
Yeah, so the MD4 also went in the bag. Like Nate has his Verdicts, I have my MD4, and I actually like to flick the MD4 a little bit too. So having it be available for a forehand and a backhand is also huge, where Warhorse, Fight the Wind, backhand or forehand.
And some of it is I do have a lot of backups of what I throw because I do go out and play a lot of tournaments, and so like I want to have, if I throw something in the water, I want to be able to replace it. So like the Anvil from last week, I actually do like the feel in the hand better than the Justice, and it does similar things. But just because I work at the store and I get a good discount doesn't mean I have the money to just buy new stuff when I have the things like, I already have 4 Justices in my car. I can't just start buying Anvils for no reason. So I probably won't buy any more Justices going forward. I probably will start switching them out with Anvils. But like somebody asked if the like since I threw the Excite so far during the review, if it was going to switch out my Shrikes. I own 15 Shrikes. I'm kind of like financially committed to the Shrike at this point, so even if it is just a little bit better, that's the thing. Like when it comes to a lot of those discs, they're very similar. I would do the same things whether I throw the same shots. Maybe it goes 10 feet farther, but does 10 feet farther really make that much of a difference in my game necessarily? Not really. And so like I'm just gonna kind of stick with what I know and what I have, and like I could put this in for my stable defenders, but I have stable defenders, and so like. That doesn't necessarily mean that those discs are better, but I already have them, I already know them. Why switch something new when I already have what I know what I have? But you guys should totally buy everything that we sell and lots of them. So don't listen to me when I say that.
I only got two more questions. You want to give?
Cool. This next question will get this disc then.
Okay. It's kind of a local question, but Benjamin Olson wants to know, so what is your favorite course in Omaha and why?
When it's not the middle of the summer, Hummel is actually really awesome.
Yeah.
They're not bugged over and it's not tons of nettles. So like the fall, when everything's starting to kind of die off,
Yep.
Playing woods golf with a nice cool temperature is nothing better than that.
Hummel's probably the best course in Omaha. It's definitely the course that's going to make you the best golfer. It's just short.
People can check it out soon on Jomez.
Yeah, that will be on Jomez in the next couple of weeks. We did a Final 9 out there. Spoiler, there is the first ever Final 9 Ace on that video. So that's pretty cool. That'll come out soon. I like Seymour Smith is a little two-part golfy as far as like great course, but I do like the variety that it has with pin placements. It changes all the time.
And it's down the road.
Yeah, it's also really close. So that's solid. Honestly, it's technically in Council Bluffs, but I'd probably say Iowa Western is my favorite course in town. It's got 2 sets of pads, so you can play it very differently. It's got the most shot variety, I think, and it's not nearly as busy as Seymour. That's probably my favorite course in the local area.
I got one more question. It's from Shane Russell. He says, color is big to Steve. Does he feel different colors break in quicker or differently?
So that was like Steve likes certain colors. He asked, does he feel like colors perform differently, break-in wise or otherwise? Does that have anything to do with it? Or is it just pretty?
Honestly, I know that like if you have a pink Lucid from Dynamic, that ends up being, I think it's more overstable than its white version.
That's backwards.
Okay.
Usually the white versions of most discs tend to be most overstable because it's something to do with the chemistry. Most clear or white discs don't have any dye in them, color dye. And so for some reason that chemically makes them more overstable. Don't know why, just usually does. So glow is similar because glow doesn't have any dye in it. That's why color glow does tend to be a little flippier because it has dye in it.
So I actually have a C-Line Glow MD3. I've got a Glow EMAC Truth. So I do have I do want the more overstable versions of them,
Yeah.
like my White Shrike.
So when Innova, it's not as consistent because they run so many discs. But a lot of times on the smaller companies like Prodigy or Legacy, you will hear people talk about certain colors being more or less understable, and that's because like they're only running 4 colors. And so like when all those runs happen at once and there's only so many colors, people can test out which ones are more unstable. Like when the Aftermaths came out, the white and the pink ones we had were very different.
Oh yeah.
But all of the white ones were stable and all of the pink ones were really flippy. And so like on the smaller companies, on smaller runs, that can matter. But in general, for me, it's just colors are prettier. Like I like my swirly gray stuff from Dynamic. It's not because the plastic's any better, it just looks pretty.
Should we go over our winners real quick?
Yeah, so I forgot. Brian Olson, I think was what you said on this guy. He asked about favorite course in Omaha.
Benjamin Olson.
Benjamin Olson, yeah, B. Olson, whatever. He won this guy, and it was Kyle Smith that won the VIP one for the closest guests.
He won. Good.
All right, so that has been episode 58 of This Disc is Great with Steve and Nate. And that was the VIP, not the VIP, just the Westside Warhorse. Check out all the other episodes on the YouTubes and the Facebooks. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh, and happy birthday again, Nate.
Yay!